Good morning, everyone. Jim Clark here at the Synchronicity Sanctuary in Central Virginia to share another contemplative focus with you today. And that focus that I wanted to share with you today is wakefulness, is witnessing, watching with no investment in what is happening. As an individual expression of consciousness, we are all aware at some level, but being wakeful involves the cultivation of a dominant subjective state of being that's rooted in the ultimate source of our existence. This state of being is the spiritual anchor that keeps us in our highest self as we navigate the daily ups and downs in all our dimensions emotional, mental, and physical. In other words, as we experience ourselves as human beings, we are also experiencing ourselves as source consciousness. So, this is the contemplation that we want to kind of go over today, and I'm going to share what my experience in this regard is. So, as you enter into a period of life where you become interested in meditation, and then take it on as a practice and develop it and get more and more into this and seek out advice when you need it and try to find some people that can help you out when you're not sure of what's going on. In other words, you look for a teacher. You look for someone who can help you move through the changes that occur when you develop a meditation and holistic lifestyle state of being, a way of living rather. So this happened to me gradually over many years. When I first became interested in meditation, I had no idea what I was doing or what meditation really was, but I did it anyway. And I followed some practices that were available at the time. This is before the internet. Um, and they helped, and they did yield some experiences which validated to me that the meditation was working, that it was a more than worthwhile pursuit in my life, because when I did break through and have a what we call a spiritual experience, it was always very blissful, very expansive, and it was fulfilling. It was more fulfilling than anything else I'd ever done in my life. And this is where a person finds themselves when they are ready to pursue meditation in earnest. They want to pursue meditation to get to the bottom of who they are and what life is really. So when you get into this practice, if you get into this practice and you move along through it, you'll have experiences that you'll need some guidance with because you're in uncharted territory. And your mind, of course, is always going to try to interpret based on illusion. So when I came to synchronicity, I had a master of meditation here who could guide me and lead me through all my experiences and demonstrate to me what I had to do and what it meant. And this was a huge breakthrough for me. And believe me, it wasn't an easy choice. My ego never wanted to be around a master because I discovered later on that when you're around a master of meditation, irregardless of their background, where if they're authentic, then they carry an energetic of source consciousness that helps to meditate anyone around them and and brings them into a kind of a state of being while they're in that proximity. And this is a meditation that's very powerful, but it's also one that your ego doesn't like because awakening and being fully aware is the death of the ego, and the ego does not want to yield its status quo. It wants to think and believe that it's in control, and it wants to think and believe that it is the one source that you always go to for whatever it is you want or need. But this is not true. Our egos, our names and our sexuality, our physicality, our education, and so forth, all identifications that we've accumulated up to this point in life is what comprises the ego, and it's all been taken on mostly unconsciously. We took on a lot of information when we were, from the moment we were born to the moment we could actually think and speak in some, with some state of awareness. We already had a lot of data that came into us and then became unconscious because of the changes that happened in the brain around ages 7 or so, and we were in a constant theta state of mind. So the information that came in, like our parents talking to us in baby talk or whatever, all these conversations that we were witness to and participated in unknowingly, go right into our unconscious, and they remain there, and they're active. So if something in our life comes up that contradicts or is in conflict with some belief that we took on during that period, we react to it, but we don't know what we're reacting to. We only know we're upset about something, and we generally focus on the exterior, and we project our discomfort with something that somebody does or says, thinking it's them or that's upsetting us, when it's really, there's something happening here that doesn't jive with what some belief that I took on when I was still unconscious, and maybe some belief that I took on after I was conscious. And so, and these things just build up and build up and build up, lifetime after a lifetime. And when you start to meditate, when you really get into meditation, you are confronted with all of this. But it's your opportunity to clear all of this. And that's one of the reasons why we have contemplative focus exercises like this, because it brings us into ourself, and it gives us a specific way of looking at ourselves that helps to bring up things that are not in congruence with that. And when that happens, then we have a chance to identify that data and clear it, let it go consciously. This is the process, the long process, I might say, when you're into a meditation that you go through to eventually be free of all that, all the clutter, all the illusory clutter that we hold on to knowingly or unknowingly. And it's a process that involves a constant focus on meditation and holistic lifestyle. This is not an easy thing. I know from my own experience that in the beginning of such a lifestyle, for me anyway, there was a lot of resistance to it. And the people around me who were sharing this experience also had their own versions of resistance to this, some more than others. And so it was quite the show that went on. But for me anyway, I had the advantage of having been in the military before I came here, and I went through the boot camp training as I went into the service, and it's a similar thing in the sense that people are there because they have to be there, a lot of them, and they go through what they go through, but there's resistance there too, and there's a play, and you see different people responding to that situation differently because of how much resistance or acceptance they have to it. And similar things happen in a place such as this, a sanctuary of meditation and holistic lifestyle, because it's challenging and it's not an easy lifestyle. People think that you're just walking around in a state of bliss all the time, but before you get to that state, before you're rooted in the source of your existence, you got to clear the way to get there. And you have to create a constant state of being that is allowing your truth, that energy and that upliftment to constantly flow into you and be expressed through you. And there's just all kinds of things getting in your way when you first start, because you have a lot of unconscious data, a lot of illusory data that you still hold on to. You don't even know you're doing this until something comes up to challenge it. And when that challenge comes, which can be a contemplative focus such as this, then you have the opportunity to say, I see something going on here, and I'm upset about this. I can't seem to get this, and so forth and so on. But through that process, you actually do process that data and replace it with a truthful statement of who you are and what life is, and then it yields, because the truth of yourself, the truth of all existence, is much more powerful than any illusory data about it. And this is the key. You're replacing bogus material with the real material. You're going for the authentic truth of who you are and what life is, instead of floating along unconsciously believing in all kinds of nonsense about who you are and what life is. And that's really what it is all about. It's like a re-education kind of thing, where your experience of life up to the point where you started to meditate was based on a lot of illusory stuff, and you were responding and reacting to beliefs that you held on to that you weren't even aware of. You liked this person, you didn't like that person, and so forth and so on. Your relationships didn't hold up very well, or they were very negative a lot of times because of this. And it wasn't your fault, it's just the way life was playing out for you in that state of awareness, which is very limited at that time. But when you meditate and you consciously expand your awareness, you become more and more wakeful, and you start to be more and more of a witness to your life, as opposed to a reactive participant in life. Because the separation and the separation between you and everything else in life is still happening. You're still aware of that as an illusory reality that we live with. You're there listening to this. I'm here giving this. I'm aware of all that, but I'm simultaneously aware of my state of being, which is anchored in my truth, that reverberates through my body, through my mind, through my emotions, through all of me, and that is my anchor, and it keeps me in a state of acceptance, and a state of loving, and a state of calm, you might say, that's with me all the time. I interact with people all the time. I go into situations that I'm not comfortable with, and I can do this now and still maintain a degree of calm and focused centeredness in myself, because of the practice and the lifestyle that I have maintained for the years that I've been here. And this is a moment-to-moment state of fulfillment that I never knew before. And it's so worthwhile. It's like nothing else in life that I've seen in myself or in people that I know that have pursued all kinds of things, thinking that it was going to be fulfillment. It could be money, it could be reputation, it could be acceptance. All these things that people strive to attain never deliver. They just don't deliver fulfillment, especially a constant fulfillment, such as the state of truthful living that comes energetically into you and through you, and it's expressed by you. So this is the wakefulness is witnessing, watching with no investment in what is happening, because you know that whatever is happening in this world is an illusion and it's not real. Life unfolds according to whatever experiences you absolutely have to have, what you came here to have, and then it will deliver the experiences that help you to move on and to progress in your own evolution, your spiritual evolution. That's all that's really happening on earth. All the noise and clatter that goes on around people's perception of reality, which is not true, is full of emotional upheaval and drama and fear, because they think that's real. Death is real. Life is real as we live it in a state of ignorance. But that's not true. And ultimately, you come to realize that the show that's going on is a show for our that is being orchestrated by consciousness itself, and we are that consciousness that are participating in it, because this is how we fulfill the primary intention in consciousness, which is to fully be itself. And it can be itself fully when it goes through the process of being locked into an illusion and then breaking free from that illusion and realizing itself as itself. And this is what life is really all about and what's happening. So wakefulness is witnessing, watching with no investment in what is happening, because ultimately the only thing that's happening is you are going to realize yourself as the consciousness that is all and everything. It's a win-win situation. So that's what I wanted to share with you this Monday morning, and I hope you take this contemplation and play with it and get into it a bit. See what comes up for you in relation to that. Until then, next week, play with it and see how that works for you, and I will do the same. So this is Jim Clark signing off, and I will be with you again next Monday with another contemplation to share with you. Thank you so much for watching.